Today is the 1st of October and we are well into autumn. The trees are beginning to lose their leaves. Some of them have already peaked in color, and it's about 6:30 p.m. and the evenings are getting really short. This gorgeous Zelkova serrata was a deep crimson only 2 days ago. Last night we had a gust of wind and I would say 30% of the leaves have fallen. This, believe it or not, is a Chinese quince. Look at the vibrant color of the leaves. Look at it, absolutely gorgeous. So although we've had a very hot summer when we've had all these difficult days of high heat, but the intensity of the summer sunshine has created some beautiful autumn colors. So let me just take you around. So it's one of these walks that I think many of you enjoy doing or enjoy watching. I certainly enjoy doing it. These are Japanese hawthorns which are about to turn color. They were green right through the year, now they're turning a deep, deep red. Look at them, absolutely beautiful. And of course we have our own crab apples which we grow in these large flower pots just to thicken the trunks. So as I say, autumn is always a season for mixed feelings, because although we enjoy the beautiful color, we know that soon we are in for the winter. But then, having had such intense heat where we had to water non-stop for 9 hours each day, 3 people at the end of hose pipe watering, that was a difficult summer. So let me just walk you through before it gets dark, because the light, although dark, will still enable me to capture some beautiful colors. I showed you a Zelkova a moment ago where it turned deep red, and yet this broom-style Zelkova never turns red. It always stays yellow. Even that tree has lost 25% of its leaves. Some of the larger maples haven't started turning color yet. And of course the maples that grow in the ground, they haven't started turning color quite yet. They're getting little tinges of red, but the trees themselves are still full of leaves and very green. This is a Deshojo. They don't turn a brilliant red, but the red is still quite nice. Another beautiful flower we grow is this Japanese bush clover. Look at it. We grow Japanese bush clover as a shrub in the garden. And look at the tassels or racemes of flowers. It is a leguminous plant because it bears these pea-like seeds. I'm not going to switch the camera off because I'm just going to walk through the nursery. One of these walks that I like to take. I started doing these walks because I enjoyed so much, and I always say to myself, if I enjoyed, I'm sure some of the viewers will enjoy it too. So in the quiet of the evening, that's when I like to walk around the nursery. Look at that heron. Look at that massive heron taking off. Look at the heron. They come to steal the fish. They steal a lot of my koi. I had a busy day doing a workshop for 2 people. Look at the lovely sunset. Nature is so beautiful. People who don't appreciate the beauty of nature must miss something in life. It's there for all to see, and yet some people never see it. This is a trident maple. Look at my trident maples. This year, because of the intense sunshine, they've all turned a beautiful red color. I'm just trying to track the flight of the heron. I hope you don't get giddy with me turning the camera around. I'm just going to walk through the avenues of maples because they are just starting to turn. So I'll take some more shots when the light is a bit better, because the light doesn't do the trees justice. It is a bit gloomy, but there is a beauty in this sort of light as well. I think I've just missed it by about 15 minutes. Had I come out 15 minutes earlier, the light would have been much better. But no matter. I will still take you for a walk. The ginkgos in the pots are starting to turn golden yellow. I can see myself having to take this walk again because I fear that the light is not really that good. So I'm going to call it a day and resume tomorrow. This is the next day and it's only 5 o'clock, so we still have a bit of sunshine. So I'm continuing the video from yesterday where I left off, and I hope I get some more color that you can enjoy. This is my very huge maple, and look at it, half the leaves have fallen. Look at the nebari on that tree. That nebari has been developed after about 37 years. This was a root that I had carved with the router to make it look like two roots. It was one thick, great big root. So this is 37 years of work on this tree. Holly tree that has some red berries on it. As a slight diversion, I'll show you our 5 needle pines. These have been cleaned, whereas these have not been cleaned. So we have so many pines that it takes a long while to clean them all to make them look nice. Many people worry about these yellow needles. They think the pine is dying. I have let a few cones grow on the trees because we do collect a few of the seeds from them. Normally people do not let the cones grow because they feel it might weaken the tree, but I don't believe it does. So let me just walk around a little more. And many of you will have seen this great big 500-year-old tree which is on the nursery. It is here for resuscitation, and in the space of 4 months I've brought it back to its original condition. This is going to be a subject of another video, tracing the history of this tree, because this 500-year-old needle juniper was imported from Japan in 1962. And I owned it since 1978 to the year 2000. It belongs to a customer now. Let me carry on my walk. And while I'm passing our toilet, there is one tree which is behind the toilet which is in spectacular color, and it is this one. It's here because I don't think much about this tree, but look at the fantastic color on it. This is a dissectum. It's a green dissectum. You can see the green leaves on it, but it turns this beautiful red in the autumn. I heard on some American channels they call it a lace leaf. It's not a lace leaf. We call them dissectum. Lace leaf I call the Shigitatsu sawa, which has veining on the leaves. So this, look at that gorgeous tree. It's not really a bonsai. It's just a large garden tree that I put in a bonsai training pot. But it's every bit 5 foot across. The trunk is about 5 to 6 inches in diameter. The roots are not particularly nice, but the color is always spectacular. And while I'm here, these are all customers' trees. We have a lot of customers who entrust their trees to us. This is a great big Itoigawa group planted on a rock. The rock is 4 foot high, 1.2 meter high. And each of these Itoigawas are huge. The trunks are about 3 inches diameter. I'm not going to switch the camera off. I'll just walk with the camera and show you some of the sights that are around. The last of my marrows. I planted marrows late, only 2 plants survived, and I'm collecting a few young marrows which I use as courgettes. Look at those beautiful cosmos. They are just stray seedlings that germinate, and I enjoy them very much. That is the Zelkova forest that I have behind the house. There are about, I think, 30 of those trees left. The famous story of me planting about 300 of them back in 1986, and they got too big. We had a violent storm last night, so some of my poor cosmos have been battered and slashed. How sad is that? And while I'm in my vegetable patch, I haven't grown any vegetables this year because the deer have been feeding on all the veg. I'm going to show you this very rare English fruit. It's called medlar. So the medlars are collected when they get ripe and about to rot. Beautiful white flowers, and one of my lady friends who is a dancing partner, she uses them to make medlar jelly. So this is medlar for you, in case you've never known about this fruit. Very rare fruit. And I also grow rhubarb. This is rhubarb. So let me walk out of this vegetable patch area and walk you into my growing fields. I'm using a gimbal device, and I hope this has improved the quality of some of the videos that I've been taking. So hopefully you shouldn't feel so giddy when I take these walks. Bring you close to this crab apple, which has got yellow fruit. It is loaded with, I would guess, maybe 20,000 or 40,000 little crab apples. Absolutely loaded with fruit. So here we are. I'm going to give you a treat. because I'm going to take you to the area where we have our Japanese maples growing in the field. Not all of them are in the field, not in the ground. I mean, they are in pots because we have to dig them up at some point. If we leave them in the ground, they'll get too big. This is a trident maple. It's about 15 foot tall. The last 8 feet has grown all in this current year. The stump of this tree was starting to rot, so I've grown a new leader on this tree. So let's see what happens. I'll show it to you again when the leaves have all fallen, and you can study this tree on another occasion. Look at the intensity of color on this tree. Look at it. Wow. That's a green dissectum. And the green dissectums really turn this brilliant orangey red. It'll turn red. It's only orange at the moment. It will turn red. And there are seeds on it as well. So we will be collecting the seed which we sell to customers. And we sow some of the seeds ourselves because we propagate a lot of maples from seed. And this is my Zelkova forest. Look at the leaves starting to turn. Almost like the fall color in the eastern United States. What a view. What a view. And the trunks are massive. This trunk is every bit 3 foot across, and all in the space of 36 years. Can you imagine if I had left all the 300 trees to grow? This whole place would be a forest. I've left these just for amenity. I do airlay some of them. The leaves that don't get the sunlight, you see, they just turn yellow. They don't turn red. So it is the sun that makes the leaves turn red. See, these leaves are all in the shade. They will never turn red. It's only the leaves that are exposed to the full sun that you get the intense red. After the heavy rains, we have this beautiful, calm, blue sky, lovely evening. I don't think we'll need the hose pipes anymore. Once you get into October, there's no more watering to do. And we really love this time of the year. Having watered for the last 6 months, it's time we had a rest. Another large dissectum. Now the tree behind is a Shigo-san, Shichigo-san. So they've got leaves like this, and they've got leaves like this. And some of them are normal leaves, so that's a rare one. But the color isn't so good this year. Normally the color is good. Now this one is another example. I'm not sure whether this is harpstring. It could possibly be harpstring, but you see the variation in the foliage. Some of the leaves are pretty thick, but the rest of the leaves are like thread, literally like thread. I love my maples. Always have loved maples. Can you imagine when I used to go to Japan, I used to seek out these maple growers, not bonsai growers, but maple specialists. And I used to have great fun talking to them. And they were always surprised how much I knew about maples. Japanese don't usually think foreigners know much about maples. The larches haven't started turning color yet. They will soon turn color. Now these are maples that we grow in the ground. You can see them growing in the ground. And they're all like 2 to 3 inches thick in the trunk. But this year I will probably get a digger and dig them up. I can't leave them to grow in the ground forever, otherwise they get too big. The colors are changing so fast that if you don't come out on one day, the colors will have changed. I think yesterday the color was much better than it is today. Many of the leaves have been blown off. You see the wind has blown all these plants over. Look at it. Plants have all blown over. These big trees are used for air layering or landscaping. There's so many varieties, even I can't remember the names of all of them. This is probably Osakazuki, I couldn't be sure, but the leaves are a bit large. This is definitely Osakazuki, that much I know. And there are more. This big maple, this is Benichidori. This originally came from Japan and it has been the source of many, many air layers. So you can see where we've air layered at the top. And the tree is still about 1 meter tall, so I can still air layer even more. Because we don't want the trees growing too big. You can see the air layering we keep doing. Some of them did not root, so we leave them on for another year. These maples are either in pots or in the ground. These are the large flower pots we use for potting up the large landscaping maples. These are Scots pines which we train for our Niwaki or Japanese garden trees. So they have a different purpose and use altogether. The fruit this year has been extremely good. So our apple trees are loaded with fruit. Take a look at that. The trees are all full of fruit. These are Bramleys, which are the best English cooking apple. If you live near here, you can come and take as many as you want. They keep quite long. They keep well till about March or April. So we store them and use them for cooking. These are strange junipers that I bought years ago, but they never really grew well. So I will have to probably abandon them. So many strange trees we have here. So as you can see, the sun is beginning to set. These are large squamatas. I've been doing a squamata project in the last week, so as I say, watch this space. You'll see some exciting trees coming out of these. These squamatas have 6-inch diameter trunks, probably too large for people to deal with. And these oak trees are just seedlings that have been planted by the squirrels. But I can't get them out until I dig these squamatas out. And these are maples that have been grown in the ground. And believe it or not, the trunks are all about 4 to 6 inches in diameter. 4 to 6 inches in diameter. They will have to come out. But I think next year we'll probably air layer the tops before we take them out. What a lot of material to play with. Great fun. I always apologize for rambling on, but it seems that some of you do like it. Hundreds and hundreds of maples. So we are self-sufficient in maples. We don't have to import or buy maples in. They are all our own production. Look at them. We produce them by the hundred and thousands. The only trouble is that I'm always too greedy. I like to keep air layering the tops, and as a result, most of these never end up as bonsai. I wouldn't say most of these. I do create a lot of bonsai, but I like thick trunk trees, so I keep growing them thick. Let me now walk into the pond area and take you back to the point where I stopped filming yesterday. This is still part of my orchard, but most of the orchard area I have used for planting young bonsai. So junipers and deishojos are all planted in the ground. These are mainly deishojos planted in this grove of maples, but the autumn color is very insipid. The spring color is beautiful, as you know, but the autumn color is not exciting. Even the famous deishojo in front of my house. By the way, I started doing a video recording the colors as it changes. I never got to broadcasting or showing it. I must show it one day. And look at the eerie effect in this maple grove. That is an Arakawa or rough bark maple. And when I bring the camera close, you will see how rough the bark is. This is what rough bark maple looks like when left to grow. That trunk is 18 inches. almost like 50 centimeter across, multi-trunk tree. I sometimes sit under this grove of maples because it is really very eerie and almost, magical, I would say. I think I will have to take another little walk when these field-grown maples are in full color. They haven't started turning color yet. Most of them are still green, starting to turn a bit yellow and orange, but the autumn color has yet to come, so nothing to panic about. Look at these Scots pines. When they're grown in the ground, they don't tend to shed their second and third year needles. Unlike the bonsai 5-needle pines, they always stay bright green. So not all pines shed their needles. I suppose because it was pruned quite hard, most of the needles are fairly new needles. This is that large leaf magnolia. The leaves are about 2 foot long. So this is where I stopped filming yesterday. So I'll go back to the point where I stopped filming, and that should be end of this little lovely autumn walk. I call it the early autumn walk because I'm going to do another one when all the maples are in full color. So this is Maiku Jaku. Another of our dissectum maples. This I think is a Deshojo. It's another large Japonicum. And this is liquid amber. This is not a maple. I think Americans who live in Louisiana tell me that they have a lot of liquid amber growing around their part of the world. Another harp string there. These are beech, hornbeams, and I'm proud to say that our nursery is looking very tidy. So on that note, I'm going to conclude this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and look out for the next one, as I always say. Thank you for watching.